Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Freedom Harvest Farms. Welcome back to a moment of time that we have. Here we go, live. Oh, did it win live and then it didn't go live? I don't really even know. Anywho, welcome back, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Freedom Harvest Farms. Listen to me when I tell you something right now. I am about to tell you that Mondays have become everything I could have ever imagined when I made the commitment to God to open the farm up on Mondays and welcome people to come out here. And I have been welcoming moms and their kids. I've been welcoming groups that want to come talk here about A Course in Miracles stuff. I'm welcoming people that want to begin really creating their homesteads and understanding better survival in economic challenges, and to make sure that they always have the food and the medicine, and they're actually turning the land that they own into the investment that it actually should be for all of us. And so it's just been this amazing opportunity for me to just make a connection with people, and for me to give what I want to receive, and for me to really show what my true commitment to what is the commitment I'm truly making to God. What is this about for me? And it's just fascinating to see how God works in our lives. It's fascinating to see how we, in alignment with God's will and our own will, create these paths that are just so beautiful and so full of trust and truth and authenticity and love and happiness. And so while other things while I'm still trying to figure out all of the other things about life, and we all are, there's just these moments where we can really revel in the joy of what we're feeling. And I wanted to take that moment with you right now and really revel in the joy of the opportunities to just find little chunks of that happiness that God has for us everywhere. And I'm so fascinated to be having the opportunity to talk to more people about God, because a lot of times the word God simply is something that can be either really drawing in or really repulsive. And so then getting the opportunity to spend a little bit more time talking a little bit further down the line, what does God mean? And what am I actually talking about? And nothing that I'm talking about is in alignment with the world. What the world has taught us is the definition of this, and this. I've had the opportunity to actually redefine things based on what I see, based on the hands-on experiences that I'm having. And then in those moments, having those opportunities then to share that with other people, it starts to become that inspiration that actually makes real change occur. I think that one of the things that we're challenged with in today's world is that we know that there's challenges, we know that there's adversities, and we expect that they're bigger than what we can even process or even change. And so we just ignore it, right? We are told, hey, everything's fine, it's going to be taken care of, we just ignore it. But in our heart of hearts, we know different, right? And so what is it that's actually going to get people to make the changes we're seeking to see made changes in the world, in our consciousness as a whole, in the life that we live, in the experiences that we're having with the people all around us? Well, it's being the inspiration. It's inspiring people. It's offering a glimpse of what can be done. It doesn't mean it's perfect. It doesn't mean that it's solved. It doesn't mean it's the end of the story. It just simply means it gives us some spark of light, inspiration, to be drawn into the passion of doing something that could actually make some change. And I'm seeing a lot of that stuff occur in the sphere around myself. And as people come to me and ask for help, and as I get into conversations with more people and they begin to understand what I'm about and what I'm talking about, and I get strange questions asked of me, and then I just always don't know how to answer them. And sometimes I leave them unanswered because I think, well, there's an opportunity for me to process in meditation, and for that person to wonder why, process what they're thinking about. Why is it that she didn't answer me? And then sometimes I have the ability to come back and give some thoughts, maybe some inspire myself and others to, like, let's look at that in a different way. Let's find some different ways to look at things. And that's kind of what I'm running into a little bit right now. Okay, I wanted to do something today. I didn't, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I didn't take the opportunity this morning to do any Qigong. And so I thought, I'm really, speaking of inspiration, I really want to inspire people to do Qigong. I think Qigong is similar to fasting and it's about recognition of our body. Our body is a temple of communication that the Holy Spirit has the ability to live in, out, around, all within, and experience and show and process and translate. And we are one body in a whole body of consciousness, in a whole Christ consciousness body. And so our independent experience that we're having in a body, if we take the time to fast, and if we take the time to do things where we actually pay attention to our body, we begin to understand what our body's trying to communicate to us, or rather, what our spirit is trying to communicate to us through our body. And if it's painful, and if it's sickening, then what we're understanding is that the miracle for us is that our body is trying to help us understand. The Spirit is using our body to communicate with us some kind of darkness, some kind of shame, guilt, fear, some sort of separation from what we actually are that is locked inside our mind, that's kept us locked inside our body, that we are experiencing. And that's what that is. It's a message from the Holy Spirit that comes from the all. And it's giving ourselves the ability then to see through these eyes, to see out into the world in a way that Son of God, Christ, the wholeness of what we are as a man or as life, can see in a different way, can see everything in a completely different way, because we have this ability to run the Holy Spirit through our body. And that's why I wanted to do Qigong again today, because I'm trying to inspire other people to understand that our bodies have this ability to actually embody these things. Our bodies have the ability to be inspiration to others. Our bodies have the ability to alert us about things that are going on. And I say our bodies, it's not actually our body that's doing it. Our body is just a tool. It's just a device. That's all it is. So it's the spirit or the energy or the light or whatever you want to call it that's flowing through us, the qigong, qi that's flowing through us that alerts us to things that are going on. So let's give some qigong, just a few little things of qigong. Let's give it a try. All right, so I'm going to back up here just a minute so you can see me a little bit better, right? And so in Qigong, we do things where we tap, breathe, stretch. But one of the most important things, and I follow a woman on YouTube called Kseny, Kseny. Look her up. She does a lot of short 10, 15, 20-minute Qigong videos. And there's plenty of them out there to get you started. And then 10 to 20 minutes every morning is nothing. And you're going to have days where you don't do it. And that is way totally okay. Forgive yourself and then move on and take other opportunities when you get the chance. And so here we go, where we press our heels, press our feet, we're grounding in to the floor. We're grounding in. We're rooting ourselves in. And then we're going to fill ourselves all the way up, kind of condense your legs and your muscles, and kind of so that you just condense it enough to where you can actually feel yourself. Tuck your tailbone in to where you're aligned. Push your shoulders back. Lift your head up. And when you lift your head up, your crown of your head should be actually pointed to the sky, which means you're going to lower your chin just a tiny bit. And loosen your arms. And so let's just loosen. Let's do some of this kind of loosening stuff today. Let's just wiggle. One of the things that I always say about Qigong and a lot of things is that everything we're learning to do in Qigong about movement and about body movement and all of that is basically everything we were untaught when we were children. Things that we knew that we were supposed to do with our bodies to move energy and all of those things. Stop wiggling, stay still, stay in your desk. All of the things that they taught us in school, basically all of the things that they taught us in school were a bunch of crap. That's what I pretty much have learned at this age in my life. And so all we're doing is just wiggling, okay? And now let's swing our arms. Oh, another thing that kids love to do, swing their arms. Just let it swing, and then maybe let it tap as it's swinging. And the whole time, we're thinking about our beautiful breath, taking deep breaths in. Slowing down, we're going to come back in here, and then we're going to take and we're going to press to the back. Press your hands to the back. And when you're twisting here, right? You're just twisting. And this is like compressing and twisting and like moving things around inside. We're going to come back and we're going to let it out. Good. Press. Okay, now this time we're going to take a deep breath in. We're going to press out side, and then when we breathe out, we're going to bend and hang. And then as we breathe in, we're going to bring this energy up from the ground, up in a ball, and then we're going to press it to the sky. And then we're going to let it out. So we're going to dip down. We're going to come out. And then we're going to bend forward. And we're going to gather it up from the ground and pull it up. Do it one more time. Okay, this time we're going to do our hips. We're going to rotate around like this. So we're just going in a clockwise motion, and we're moving our hips. Now let's go the opposite direction. And you're pressing out as you move your hips, you're just pressing out. And the thing about it is with all of this is that you want to make sure that you're continuing to breathe. You want to make sure that you stay grounded in your heels. And you want to make sure that you can feel everything that's actually occurring as your hips go around in a circle. What does it feel like to be inside this body. What does this body want to tell us? Now we're going to center out with it. And then we're going to do some tapping, okay? So we're going to start by tapping on our forehead, and then we're going to tap back, all the way to the back of our neck. Let's do that again. Tap, 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 tap. Feel what it feels like. Every inch of you should be actually having a sensation right now. And a little bit like crinkly and sparkly, like I start to feel it in my arms, I start to feel it around my head. So we're just tapping. Okay, now we're going to tap the back of our spine. We're going to kind of smack it. Switch arms. Perfect. Now let's massage our ears. Okay, so now you're going to tap on your shoulder, right? Tap to the back, tap to the front, tap into your collarbone, and as you go down, you're going to lift up your arm, you're going to tap under your armpit. And there's all kinds of things that Cassini and other Qigong leaders could teach you about everything that this is doing for your actual internal organs, right? Let's go back down again. Tap really good around your, anytime you've got some joints, your wrist. These are all places that your body is moving energy to your actual organs. Now we're going to go down the side of the rib cage. And let's switch to the other side. We're going to start here in the collarbone. And then we're going to lift up and we're going to go into our armpit. Up over our shoulder, to our back of our shoulder, and then down our arms. And remembering to get into those joints, and get into those wrists. Let's go around one more time before we go down our... We're just doing some wake up. We're waking things up. You know, if you're sitting at your desk on a work day, this is a good thing to just get up, get some breath work going, right? Okay, now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to tap on our here. We're going to switch around to the back, and we're going to tap into our glutes. Okay, then we're going to start going down the side of our legs. And remember, your joints are important. It's going all the way down, taking a bend for a minute, and then coming all the way back up. This part of your knee right here, let's hit this specifically as we come back up. Let's get that part right there, because that's a really important energy spot for. Okay, take a deep breath in. Bring it all down. And let's bring it into our dantian, or our core, our gut. And take one more deep breath in. Settling right here in the core. Give yourself a second to just ground in again. Knowing that your brain, your gut brain is healing. There's energy flowing in there. You're drinking lots of water. You're getting good vitamin D, sunshine. It's the summer. Solstice is almost here. All right. Okay. Thank you for sharing a few minutes of that with me. I really appreciate it. And so now we can get into this week's lesson and everything like that. So let me see. What did I do with my little... There we go. I needed a little sip after all that. All right. So let's get into what the course has to say today and see if there's anything in here that we can really think about that will make us... think about what we've been learning about ourselves, about the world, about what we're seeing, what we're processing, who we're teaching, what we're inspiring, what we're learning, what we're fearful of, what we're learning to let go of, where we're giving God faith. These are all of the things that I'm picking up on each day. And I'm really I'm in a position of just absolutely having no other choice but to give it up to God and to understand, what does that actually mean to me every day, all day, every experience, every thought? What does it mean to let go and let God? What does it mean with every thought, every breath, every step? And I can tell you that I'm not doing it with every thought, every breath, every step, but I'm spending a lot of time actively and intentionally intending to and trying, I hate that word, I'm intending, and I'm willing. I love that word. I'm willing to. And if I'm willing to, even for 1 second of the day, then that's enough willingness. And so imagine if I'm willing to do it with every second of my life. Seek not outside yourself is today's section in chapter 29 of The Awakening. Seek not outside yourself, for it will fail, and you will weep each time an idol fails. So when I look at my partner and I see that they give me love and that they're the answer and that they complete me and all of that, I've created an idol out of them. And every single one of the idols that we create, whatever that idol may be, our child, it might be our parent, it might be a musician that we love, it might be a president, a government leader, it might be a preacher, it might even be a master of a lead, like Christ. It might be a master, or Jesus, probably a better way to say it. Anytime we focus on the human and separate from God, our separate self, when we focus on that, we create an idol out of them, and the idol will always fail, is what they're saying. Heaven cannot be found where it is not, and there can be no peace excepting there. Each idol that you worship when God calls will never answer in his place. There is no other answer you can substitute and find the happiness his answer brings. Seek not outside yourself, for all your pain comes simply from a futile search for what you want, insisting where it must be found. So seek not outside yourself for the answers to the problems of why you're in pain. Seek not outside yourself for the answers to the problems as to why you're in lack. Seek not outside yourself for the answers to why you are afraid. Seek not outside yourself for the reasons why you're sick, because it's all coming from inside. For all your pain comes simply from a futile search for what you want, what you're lacking. That's what your pain comes from. That's what your sickness comes from. Insisting where it must be found. Oh, I'm lacking. It's over there. I don't have it. I need to go get it. It's in that thing over there. That thing over there has become the idol that holds the answer to the problem. And what this is saying is that the answer to the problem is inside. It's not over there. You're projecting it when you do that with it. Do you prefer that you be right or happy? Oof, that's a big one. That's a huge one for me. Huge. I don't even know, like, anybody that knows me, even remotely, knows. Would Aislinn rather be right or happy? That's a huge thing to learn. Be you glad that you are told where happiness abides, and seek no longer elsewhere. You will fail. Happiness, and this is what today's lesson is, and yesterday's lesson too. Happiness is godliness. We are God. There is nothing, the energy, the spirit, there's nothing in us and nothing exists in this world that isn't of the energy and the creation of God, which is love and which is happiness. And anything that we turn it into is turning away from toward the shadow that we project on the world. You will fail, but it is given you to know the truth and not to seek for it outside of yourself. No one who comes here but must still have hope, some lingering illusion or some dream that there is something outside of themselves that will bring happiness and peace to him. If everything is in him, if everything is in him, this cannot be so, and therefore by his coming he denies the truth about himself and seeks for something more than everything, as if a part of where it separated off and found where all the rest of it is not. This is the purpose he bestows upon the body, that it seek for what it lacks and give him what would make himself complete. And thus he wanders aimlessly about in search of something that he cannot find, believing that he is what he is not. So it's just like wandering around in this world, looking for something outside of us to solve our problem of happiness, when we're literally just walking around looking in the darkness for something that's not there. The lingering illusion will impel him to seek out 1,000 idols and to seek beyond them for 1,000 more, and each will fail him, all excepting one, for he will die and does not understand the idol that he seeks is but his own death. Its form appears to be outside himself, yet does he seek to kill God's Son within. Goodness, these pages are one to stick together. And prove that he is victor over him. This is the purpose every idol has, for this is the role that it is assigned to, and this the role that cannot be fulfilled. Wherever you attempt to reach a goal in which the body's betterment is cast as a major beneficiary, so like if you believe that the body is the major benefit, you try to bring about your own death. Like when you make an idol out of your body, you guide your body towards death because you recognize internally that you are projecting away from God, and so you punish yourself. And so you punish yourself by punishing your body, because you are holding your body up as an idol, basically. For you believe that you can suffer lack, and lack is death. To sacrifice is to give up, and thus to be without and to have suffered loss. And by this giving up is a life renounced. Seek not outside yourself. The search implies you are not whole within and fear to look upon your devastation, but prefer to seek outside yourself for what you are. Idols must fall because they have no life, and what is lifeless is a sign of death. You came to die, and what would you expect but to perceive the signs of death you seek? No sadness, no suffering proclaim a message other than an idol found that represents a parody of life, which in its lifelessness is really death, conceived as real and given living form. Yet each must fail and crumble and decay, because a form of death cannot be life, and what is sacrificed cannot be whole. All idols of this world were made to keep the truth within from being known to you, and to maintain allegiance to the dream that you must find what is outside yourself to complete and happy. It is vain to worship idols in the hope of peace. God dwells within, and your completion lies in him. Constantly seeking outside of yourself for the answer to what's already inside yourself. Denying God. God didn't make me good enough, so I'm going to go look for what God didn't do good enough outside of me. And it's what is essentially what this is saying. And what it's also saying is that doing that is creating is sacrifice. It's death. It's understanding that you're turning your body into an idol in itself. You're turning them into an idol. You're turning yourself into an idol. Whatever you do to them, you're doing to yourself, right? And so when we turn our bodies into idols, and we turn other people's bodies into idols, we turn other things into idols, then we've turned them into the illusion that will die, that will fail, because we've made them an idol. No idol takes his place. Look not to idols. Do not seek outside of yourself. Let us forget the purpose of the world the past has given it. Let us forget the purpose of the world the past has given it. For otherwise, the future will be like the past. If we don't forget this bullshit purpose that we have made to create idols out of everything in the world, we'll just continue to keep repeating that same cycle over and over and over again. But we'll have a series of depressing dreams in which all the idols will fail us one by one, and you see death and disappointment everywhere. And this is essentially the insanity loop. If you've watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is a multiverse, and they talk about the insanity loop, it's essentially this idea that we're just doing the exact same things over and over and over again, repeating the exact same mistakes over and over and over again. To change all this and open up a road of hope and of release in what I love about the Course is it's like, blah, and it just gives it to you. Like, this is shit, it tells you, and this is what the world has taught us, and this is what we have taught us ourselves through the world, looking at these things. And this is, and it's not to say that there isn't as much good out there in the world as there is bad out there in the world. You insist that it's all real and that the bad is just as real as the good, and therefore you turn all of the bad into the idols, and then it comes back and says, but the hope that I can give you is that all you have to do is release it. It was never really there to begin with, and nothing that you ever had that was good can ever be lost, because it's God's, and God's things can't be lost. Only the shit that we make up in our fight with God can be lost, or death, or sacrificed, or whatever. To change all this and open up a road of hope and of release in what appeared to be an endless circle of despair, you need but to decide you do not know the purpose of the world. I love that. You need but to decide you don't know the purpose of the world. I know the purpose of me. The purpose of me is love, happiness, joy, forgiveness, miracles. The purpose of this body, this human, this expression of God is love, forgiveness, expressed in the way that Aislinn expresses it. But what I don't know is the purpose of the world. What I don't understand is the purpose of the world. And I get that. Like, that's probably the daily question that I go through. Like, I don't understand what the point of this world is. I don't understand what the purpose of this world is. You give it goals it does not have, unless you decide what it is for. So this is us analyzing the world, going, okay, well, it must be so that we can learn how to be better farmers. It must be so that we can learn how to be better mothers and brothers and sisters. And this must be what God is teaching us with the world. This must be what God is teaching us with the world. God's using the world to teach us what God already intended our purpose to be, which is love and forgiveness and to be back with God. That's God's using the world we created to teach us something. The world doesn't have any, God doesn't have any goals in this world. God doesn't give a crap about this world. All the world is an expression of us learning, an expression of God learning something. You give it goals it does not have, and thus do you decide what it is for. You try to see it in a place of idols found outside yourself, with power to make complete what is within by splitting what you are between the two. You choose your dreams, for they are what you wish, perceived as if it had been given you. Your idols do what you would have them do, and have the power you ascribe to them. So essentially, our idols only have as much power as we actually give them, right? So anything in this world that is powerful, we cannot even sit as a victim and say, it's so powerful, I have no power over it. Because we gave it the power. It only has as much power as we have given it. And that is something that if we could understand that, we would not be oppressed. We would not be victims. We would not be letting the bullshit that occurs, that we're not inspired to do anything different about, because we would begin to understand that we have given the power to anything that exists out in this world. We have given the power to the idols. And you pursue them vainly in the dream because you want their power as your own. So we put the power outside of ourselves, And then we go chase after it as if we don't already have it. It is insanity, literal insanity, the way we put things outside of ourselves. Yet where are the dreams but in a mind asleep? And can a dream succeed in making real the picture it projects outside itself? Can a dream succeed in making real the picture it projects outside itself? Save time, my brother. Learn what time is for. And speed the end of idols in a world made sad and sick by seeing idols there. Your holy mind is an altar unto God, and where he is, no idols can abide. Your holy mind is an idol unto God, and where he is an altar unto God, and where he is, no idols can abide. Nothing fake, nothing failing, nothing powerful outside of you. None of that can even exist. It's not real. So don't try to make it real, because it's not real. The fear of God is but the fear of loss of our idols. It is not the fear of loss of your reality, but you have made of your reality an idol. So the reality that we've created, that we've given the power around us, all things we created, and we are afraid of that, and we are afraid of losing that reality. And we have made that reality an idol. But you have made of your reality an idol, which you must protect against the light of truth. And all the world becomes the means by which this idol can be saved. Salvation thus appears to threaten life and offer death. Salvation thus appears to threaten life and offer death. Salvation, which is our only purpose. Salvation, which is getting back to the whole of what we are, the atonement, the God. We pushed it outside of ourselves and made it death and sacrifice, rather than what it actually is, which is death isn't real. We have no sacrifices required. We were whole and always whole, and we were love and always love, and we are joy and always joy, and happiness and always happiness. And all of that exists regardless of the idols and the things we chase to ruin our lives with. It is not so. Salvation seeks to prove there is no death, and only life exists. The sacrifices of death is nothing lost. An idol cannot take the place of God. Let him remind you of his love for you, and do not seek to drown his voice in chants of deep despair to idols of yourself. Seek not outside your Father for your hope, for hope of happiness is not in despair. So you do not have to sacrifice. You do not have to. You do not have to be sacrificed. You do not have to be, frankly, you don't even actually have to be saved. You were already saved, right? We already have all of these things that we're seeking outside of ourselves. So going over here to lesson 103, and I love that the way that I started doing it this year was like, basically I'm just reading each section and one lesson. And so they correlate. They always correlate so nicely when we're doing it trying to keep up with it in that way. Lesson 103, I have on page 185 in my book. God, being love, is also happiness. Happiness is an attribute of love. It cannot be apart from it, nor can it be experienced where love is not. So if there's no love there, there's no happiness there. If there's happiness there, there is love there. Love has no limits, being everywhere, and therefore joy is everywhere as well. Yet, can the mind deny that this is so, believing there are gaps in love where sin can enter, bringing pain instead of joy? This strange belief would limit happiness by redefining love as limited and introducing opposition in what has no limit and no opposite. Fear is associated then with love. And then it results become the heritage of minds that think that they have made what they have made is real. So we get trapped in this idea that love is painful. Love is hard. Love Love is love. Love is joy. Love is happiness. Love, you don't get to decide what love is. Love is. This basic error we will try again and again and again. These images with no reality and truth bear witness to the fear of God, forgetting being love. He must be joy. Today, we bring the truth today and teach ourselves. God, being love, is also happiness. To fear him is to be afraid of joy. No fear in God. Not required. Does nothing to help us. Is basically turning fear of God into an idol of power that we follow. Begin your periods of practicing today with this association, which corrects the false belief that God is fear. It also emphasizes happiness belongs to you because of what he is. Allow this one correction to be placed within your mind each waking hour today. Just think about it. Every hour, my watch goes off, boop, boop, at 2 o'clock, at 3 o'clock, every day it's going to go off. If you give yourself that just like moment, you hear that beep and just think, God is love, God is happiness, and I am with all of that. God being love is also happy, and it is happiness I seek today. I want to be happy. God is love and God is happy, and I want to be happy, and I am God and I am love and I am happy. I cannot fail because I seek the truth. God being love, it will be given you. Bolster this expectation frequently throughout the day and quiet all your fears with this assurance. Kind and holy and true. God being love is also happiness. God is not fear. God is not fearful. God is not here to reprimand us for the bullshit we've pulled. We are the prodigal son running home being loved. That's it. I love y'all. I love you. Life is not easy. I'm figuring it out. I'm taking the time and the space to understand who I am and what I have available to me and who God wants me to be while I'm here with God, experiencing, I don't even know, just loving. Just loving. Loving people that come to the farm. Loving people that I perceived pain. Loving people that don't understand me. Loving people that I don't understand. Loving people who are different than me. Loving people who agree with me completely. And it doesn't even require anything. I don't actually even have to do anything for love to exist, to express love. Feeling, loving. God is love, and God is happiness, and I desire happiness, and I am happiness, and I am love, and so are you. I love you all. Thank you for joining me. This has been a great little session. I've enjoyed it very much. I hope you have the best day ever, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday. And I hope that if you're here on YouTube, that you'll subscribe to this channel and check out some of the other things that I'm doing, because I'm posting about three videos a week on YouTube now. The podcast, of course, this week's podcast is phenomenal. We're talking to my friend who's a death doula, and it is talking about end of life and how we are doing it all wrong. We're doing it all wrong. We're doing everything wrong. We're doing everything wrong. So let's just join together and hold hands while we figure out how to take one step in the right direction towards what feels good and feels like love and feels like joy and feels like happiness. Let's support one another. Let's inspire one another. So, podcast, check it out. Follow me on Instagram or any of that stuff, and just join up with me. Share this group with friends if you want. Share this live with your friends, and then ask me any questions. Let's be challenged to talk about things that are hard to talk about. That's what the podcast was about this week. Let's be challenged to talk about things that are challenging to talk about. Let's be brave to say the things that we think no one else would say. But when we say them, people are like, oh my God, I'm so glad you said those things, because that's what I needed to hear. And I wanted to say the same thing. Okay? All right. I love you. I hope you have the best week ever. And I'll see you all next Monday. If you come into this later on for a replay, just thank me, say hi, push replay, do something like that. Okay? I love you. I'll see you soon. Bye, friends.